Are the Dallas Cowboys finally changing the narrative on being a lazy, do the same thing and expect different results type of organization? Because over the last 12 months, the Cowboys have done something that I am genuinely not used to seeing since I started making content about this team. They have been going out and making organizational moves that actually make football sense, not just making emotional moves that make the ownership happy. They are thinking about football first. And yeah, I like it. I really do. What is going on? People, you already know who it is. Appreciate all the support you have been giving me on this channel. If you like the content and you appreciate what we do here, make sure you hit that subscribe button because it really does mean a lot. Now, this video is kind of a stream of consciousness. I want to just talk to y'all about whether the Cowboys are doing something that a lot of people do not want to acknowledge yet. And that is okay. It is okay to be skeptical. We have these conversations as we go through this free agency and draft period, this build the team up phase, this hypothetical wish season or hope season or whatever you want to call it. We have to have these talks to see if we as Cowboys fans are on the same page. The people who have been around my channel for a while know exactly how I feel about things. But if you are new here, you might not understand my thought process yet. See, I am not necessarily a Kool-Aid drinking, we are definitely going to the Super Bowl type of fan. That is really not me. But I am also not an everything is wrong and woe is me, and we will never be good type either. I am kind of somewhere in the middle. Let us call this channel the balance of the fan base. Yeah, I think I like that. I am the balance. I am somewhere between we are going to crush everybody this year and we need to build this team properly. I am in the middle, and honestly, it is good to be in the middle because you can see things clearly from that perspective. Now, the narrative of the Dallas Cowboys has been the same for years. Jerry Jones does not spend money. Jerry Jones does not make moves. Jerry Jones just signs bargain basement free agents. He makes bargain basement moves. He is not aggressive. He is not forward thinking. He just hires older coaches. He does not move on from coaches without paying out their full contracts. That has been the narrative for as long as I can remember covering this team. But Jerry Jones has done nothing over the last 12 months except prove us all wrong. And when I sit here and really think about it, I am like, yo, are we actually changing the narrative here? Is something different happening in Dallas? And the reason I started thinking about this is because one of the last reports that came out from Ian Rappaport, who some of y'all might respect more than me because he is Ian Rappaport, the rumor floating around the NFL is that the Cowboys are willing to tag and trade George Pickens. And the reason why that report has some steam to it is because the Cowboys already traded Micah Parsons this year, and that threw everybody for a loop. Jerry Jones does not do that. Jerry Jones does not have the heart to do that. Jerry Jones does not trade star players. Jerry Jones does not make those types of decisions, but he did. And since then, it has everybody scared, like, what else are they capable of doing? So when they say we might tag and trade Pickens for as low as a second-round pick, I do not know who creates these stories. I do not know if they are just being floated out there or if they are actually coming from the organization. You never know where these sources really come from. But the reason why it has some staying power is because we just did something crazy by trading one of the best defensive players in the NFL. Micah Parsons was at least top 5 at his position before he left the Cowboys. Whether you liked him or not, that was the reality. I do not know where you think he ranks now, especially coming off injury, but that is not really my business, and that is not the point of this video. The point is whether that move and all the other moves are changing the narrative. Let us go down memory lane and look at everything that has happened. Last year, the Cowboys did not really do much in free agency, right? We had a pretty customary approach to it, but we did sign our highest money value free agent in like 10 years since Brandon Carr when we signed Dante Fowler to a $10 million contract. People were shocked. That double-digit signing, Cowboys do not do that. So that was the first little baby check on the list. Let us call it a baby check. Then the Cowboys go into the draft and do our customary thing. We draft offensive line help. Everyone is like, oh, same old Cowboys. We are not doing anything different. But then from that point on, the Cowboys started making moves that you simply cannot predict from Jerry Jones and this organization. Check one. We were in the running for a receiver. We were linked to Rashad Bateman and some lower tier receivers that would pair with Jonathan Mingo and guys like that. But instead, the Cowboys got aggressive and went out and got George Pickens, one of the best young, talented receivers in the league. Yes, he had some concerns because people thought he was a hothead or whatever you want to say about his past. But long story short, it was an aggressive move that has paid dividends, especially in hindsight with 1,400 yards and 9 touchdowns and all-pro recognition. Yeah, that George Pickens that a lot of y'all did not believe in, but I did believe in him. So we did that. Fine. Then we go through training camp and Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones get into it. The whole situation blows up. Everyone is saying Jerry is going to fold. He is going to fold like he did with Dak Prescott. We were all saying it, but then Jerry actually trades Micah Parsons for 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark. I am still floored by that move because it was like, wow, whether it ends up being good or bad remains to be seen, but he actually did it. That was a very aggressive move, the kind of move you see from other organizations who trade their best player to get draft capital and try to build properly. We do not do things like that in Dallas, but we did it. Then, when we are struggling in the middle of the year, instead of just riding it out and waiting for the draft to fix things, the Cowboys got aggressive again. They traded a first-round pick in the middle of the season for Quinnen Williams, an all-pro defensive tackle. Cowboys do not do that. We do not make mid-season moves like that, but we did it. So I am checking off this list like, okay, George Pickens, we do not do that, but we did. Micah Parsons move, we do not do that, but we did. Quinnen Williams mid-season trade, we do not do that, but we did. Just move after move after move that goes against everything we thought we knew about this organization. Then the season plays out and does not end the way we wanted. All good. We get to the offseason and old school Cowboys would keep Matt Eberflus for another year, load him back up and see if they were right about him. But new Cowboys, this organization that is moving differently, they fire Matt Eberflus immediately, not waiting weeks, not waiting until after the Super Bowl. They fire him within days of the season ending. That was different. Then they hire a young African-American defensive coordinator. I do not care if people have a problem with me pointing that out. It is Black History Month, so sue me. This is different for this organization. Tell me I am wrong. They hired Christian Parker, who is in his early 30s, a defensive prodigy, if you will. Then they proceed to hire what looks like an 80 to 90% African-American defensive staff. Now, that part does not necessarily matter for pure football reasons, but it is different. It is progressive. The youth movement is real, not just when it comes to ethnicity, but the ages of these coaches. All of these young coaches I talked about in my earlier videos, that is different for the Cowboys. I am sitting here like, wow. Wow. At some point, you just have to step back and say, okay, I am starting to see a theme here, not just with the coaching hires, but with the Cowboys moving differently across the board. Now, why am I making this video? Why does this narrative shift matter heading into free agency and the draft? Because the Cowboys could just sit on their hands and sign some lower tier free agents and basically run it back with minimal changes. That would be the old Cowboys way. Or they can do what all of the insiders have been tipping their hand to. And I have another little nugget that I will share with y'all in the coming days that validates this point even further. Are the Cowboys going to move differently in free agency and the draft? Because all of these prior moves show a new, aggressive, forward-thinking, football-focused mindset. And if you are thinking football first, you can foundationally put this whole team together properly. You can set yourself up perfectly for the draft. If you are thinking football, you can make 2 or 3 real solid moves in free agency, Not necessarily the biggest names, but solid contributors, moves that will make the draft about best player available instead of scrambling to fill holes. Then you will be ready to go. You can literally jump this defense from 32nd or 31st all the way up to somewhere between 11th and 15th in the league. I am not going to go crazy and say we will be a top 10 defense because that is way down the road. But if you make the right moves and get the right coaching and get your defensive personnel on the same page, you can absolutely jump that far in one offseason. When I think about the narrative of the Dallas Cowboys and what it has been for years, I realize I have been covering the same storylines since 2020, and people have been right in their criticisms because we kept doing the same things over and over. That is where a lot of our complaints come from. Jerry being Jerry, making the same mistakes, expecting different results. But when you step back and look at everything that has happened over the last 12 months, and I probably missed some things, so let me know in the comments what I forgot. Jerry has been moving differently. The front office has been moving differently. Something has genuinely changed. So my bet, if I am pushing my chips to the middle of the table and saying this is what I think is going to happen, I truly believe the Dallas Cowboys are going to have an aggressive free agency. I think they will sign about 4 legitimate players. Not 4 high-end superstars necessarily, but 4 legitimate contributors who can help this team. At bare minimum, 4 real signings plus some other filler moves. And I think we are going to have an aggressive draft with a clear point of view and strategy. Not just grabbing whoever falls, but actually targeting specific players who fit what we are building. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Have the Dallas Cowboys changed the narrative? I think they have. The evidence is right there in front of us. Move after move after move that goes against everything we thought we knew about this organization. At some point, you have to acknowledge that something is different. Something has changed, and I am here for it. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. Drop a like on this video if you are seeing what I am seeing, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.